Folks, Guns Gear on target training out here in Oregon. Before we get started, if you enjoy our content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All of that helps drive the algorithm, and we are rapidly approaching 100,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate your help. Today we're going to talk about a new pistol caliber carbine that has just been released from Smith Wesson. Smith Wesson designed this response carbine to maximize the interest that many people have in having a carbine that also shoots the same ammunition and uses the same magazines as a pistol. And in this case, obviously it comes set up from the factory with the Smith Wesson M&P, basically the magazine well here. That magazine well, however, can also be swapped out so you can run Glock magazines. So for example, if you have a Glock 17 or a Glock 19, that's your primary sidearm, then you can swap out the mechanism here in the mag well, essentially, and that whole mechanism to allow you to run Glock magazines. I'm just going to leave it as is. I mean, sure, I'll swap it out and try some Glock magazines in it, but I'm just going to leave it as is because I frequently shoot M&P pistols in 9mm. So from a spec standpoint, 16.5-inch barrel. It's a 1 in 10 twist. The overall weight of the carbine unloaded is 5.9 pounds. I believe it's 94 ounces. We have a 5-position stock here, which, you can put that stock wherever you want. And again, some people like running it in different positions, so whatever works for you. Comes with a complete rail on top, so you can add whatever optics that you want, or backup iron sights or backup sights of some type. I personally like having backup sights, not for everybody. Some people just want to run a dot. Here's what I know. I know that mechanical devices can and do fail. And whether it's a battery, whether it's just an electronic, issue, whether it's too much rain or whatever, they can fail. So having backup sights is really important. So I will add those to this particular carbine. It's 35 inches long with the buttstock fully extended. So typical carbine length. Other things that are nice about this is it has a flat-faced trigger. And the trigger is quite good for a stock gun, right? A stock trigger in the gun. So we've confirmed the gun is unloaded, obviously, off safe. And when I press the trigger, I'm going to do this here so you can get some feeling of the trigger distance. It's very, very short. Nice tactile reset. And, again, there's a little squish in it. It's not, a target trigger, but for this particular style of carbine, it's really good right out of the box. Also have a threaded muzzle. The thread pitch on this is 1/2 by 28. So it's a pretty, a lot of pistol suppressors are already set up in that length, so you don't need an adapter, which is fantastic. You could also take this off. You could put on, a flash hider, a flash mitigator, a recoil reduction device. And with a blowback carbine like this, anything you do like that is going to, give you maybe a little recoil mitigation. But again, in 9mm, it's not that significant. The setup when you get the gun itself, the pistol grip has the same back straps that you would get when you buy, or that you do get when you buy a M&P pistol, right? So there's I think 3 or 4 different back straps, small, medium, large, extra large. And so it's simple, easy to swap out, right? I'm just going to turn this and then pull the back off. I really like that because it's a very consistent feel to what my M&P 9mm pistols feel like. So that to me is a really nice setup there. Positive mag release here, right? We have a standard bolt catch ping pong paddle on this side, right? So for those of you who are used to that, you know, the only thing that I am not crazy about is I would love to have this be an ambidextrous charging handle, but it's not. But it's still quite positive in the way that it engages and works. There's not much resistance there. Standard fire control that you'd expect to see on an AR style carbine, right? We have our safe on off. It's very tactile, very distinct. Important to have that safety feature there. And other than that, we will get it to the range and give you a shooting review, but I thought it'd be interesting to share that with you. One last point I forgot to make, you get several of these, you know, essentially they're tabs that you can fill in some of these spaces around here. This is something that some people like to do. They like to have that fore end covered up. So there's a bunch of those. You can place them wherever you want. This is an M-Lok rail, so you could add whatever you want to that, whether it's a light or a vertical grip or a bipod or whatever else that you might want to add. If you live in a state that still allows you to have standard capacity magazines, then a standard capacity magazine that comes with this are two 23-round magazines. The 17-round magazines work great. 10-round, 15-round magazines, maybe you have an M&P compact with a 15-round magazines. Those all will work with this magazine well. And therefore, if you have, again, to me, having a pistol and a carbine shooting the same ammunition and using the same magazines means that if I only have one carbine and I only have one pistol, I at least have a tool that has greater reach and quite frankly is easier to shoot and control because of multiple points of contact against, you know, my shoulder, my cheek, my non-dominant hand, and of course my dominant hand. So all of those points of contact help me mitigate this and have greater control, especially shooting at distance. So pistol caliber carbine, if you don't have one and you're thinking about getting one and you run either Glocks or M&P 9mm pistols, this is a great combination to that sidearm. Well, folks, I really appreciate you watching. Finally, and as always, stay safe.